Flyover Country was started on the way back from a reading that David Sedaris was giving in Cleveland.
He signed my copy of Barrel Fever.
And Tony and I are both writers, and I mentioned to Tony that I had gotten a rejection letter from a literary magazine I hadn't even remembered submitting to.
They can take sometimes more than a year to respond to a submission.
It must have taken this particular magazine about 10 months to get back to me.
I don't remember which magazine it was.
This specific magazine was just a small press, and that kind of started this long rant from both of us on the problems with locally run literary magazines.
Why does it have to be this way? How could it take that long just to respond to a submission?
I turned to Tony and I said, well, dude, why don't we just start one that specializes in writers from the Midwest and is punctual with its responses to the writers and puts writers first, because a lot of these literary magazines sort of, you get the feeling when you're submitting to them that they're using you, just for a story or a poem or an article or whatever.
You really get the sense that you're just a list of credits.
And so we set out from that day forward to create a literary magazine that puts the writer first and promotes the writer and does a lot of things in the writer's interests rather than just considering what the reader wanted to do.
Flyover Country, the part of the country that isn't really worth visiting. It's the part of the country that you just see from the window of your plane when you're flying from one coast to the other. We like the idea of subverting that term that's used to insult the Midwest, and then using it to label something that's promoting writers and artists of the Midwest. Sit down.
Well, I got a Facebook message from Tony saying that he was putting together a magazine with Pete, who we'd all been friends before, and he asked me if I wanted to submit a piece, and they chose one, and then they asked to interview me about it. I told them, I wanted to get involved a little bit more, and that's things started taking off from there.